Welcome to a video from digital-lifestyle.com. This is another 5-minute tutorial video for the Korg Multi, and this one we're going to look at creating arpeggios on the multi using the built-in Arpeggiator, and we'll have a look at how that works with motion sequencing and creating some effects, and we'll get a nice arpeggio running. So the arpeggio on the multi affects all 4 layers. So when you're using that, you've got to think, if you wanted to create a pad with an arpeggio over the top of it, how can you do that? You've got to use a few tricks on that. Also, the motion sequencer, that runs when your arpeggio is running, but the motion sequencer is a note per note event. So when you play a note, it plays the sequence. So how does that relate to it? So that's what we're going to look at in this video. So I've got an initialized patch that we're ready to start now. So initialized patch now. So we're going to create some sort of brassy type sound. So I'm going to use a detuned saw, and we'll put an envelope on there just to now. If I get the sustain right down, that'll do. We'll put a bit of release. Okay, so the arpeggiator's there. We're using a single layer at the moment. Turn the arpeggiator on. So let's have a look at the arpeggiator. There's a few different options we've got there. We've got up. So if I play a C chord, you can see it going up, go down. We can alternate. And alternate 2. That's just one of my favourite ones, especially if you get the nice big chord. And then you've got random, which you can kind of do the Rio type Duran Duran thing. I'm going to go with the Alt 2. Of course, you've got different resolutions. We're at 120 beats per minute on here, and you can choose different resolutions of that. So it's all synced with the master clock, and you can latch it as well. Then you can introduce some swing to it. So nice sort of bouncy feel. And we've got per octave, or an octave range. So that's 1 octave, 2 octaves, and the gate time. So I've got my sequencer there. So I've got a nice simple arpeggiator on there. Now let's say I wanted to apply some filter cutoff to that as well. So we can reduce the filter down. We can have some filter movement on there. So I'm going to put the LFO on there. Turn that LFO speed down. And I could tempo sync that as well. And if I sync it and do free running, it will continue running. It won't restart when I hit the key again. So it won't restart the LFO cycle. So if you've got a very long LFO cycle, it won't keep restarting every time you change keys, which is great for sort of the analog effect. So that's probably a bit much. We'll reduce that intensity down a bit. Now I mentioned, so that's a basic sort of sequence on there. I mentioned we've got motion sequencing. So a motion sequencer, you can record notes or any value and have that play back when you play a note. Now we did it with the cutoff, but let's just say let's put a pulse width on there, and I want to record the pulse width, or let me just put some values in. We're going to alter the pulse width, so we're going to go up to the maximum there. Let's just play that. I'm going to turn the arpeggiator off for a second so I can show you what I mean. Now, of course, we've got a short envelope. You don't hear it. Let me just envelope that. Oh, and of course, I need to then apply that line generation on there. Okay, you can hear it there. In combination with the filter. I'm just going to shorten the envelope again, put the arpeggio back on. Now you notice it stopped, or it appears to be stopping. It's because every time the arpeggiator is playing a new key, the sequence starts back at the beginning again. So that's not doing what I want it to do in this case. So this is where you can use the note and advance feature. So every note of the arpeggiator will move this onward. So even if I take that filter movement off for now, kind of time's up now, you can hear it. So that's how you can get the filter. So that's how you can get the motion sequencer working with the arpeggiator. Now, kind of time up for what I wanted to do with the arpeggiator, but just one other trick on here. So one thing you can do if you want the pad sound as another layer not to be affected by an arp. So let's say I've got an arpeggiator created earlier. So there's one. If I introduce a pad sound now, you can hear that pad. So the way you're just going to use the envelopes to try and make the pad sound play. So extend that release time. So although the arpeggiator is running there, that envelope has meant that the pad sound stays playing like a pad. And then when you put it together, you've got that nice combined effect. Another way of doing it, for another video, is you can use the motion sequencer to recreate an arpeggiator and then have that independent on each layers. But that's for another video. So thanks for watching this video. If you've got any suggestions for these 5-minute patch videos, please let me know. I'll see you on the next one.